Denzel Washington isn't the kind of man to throw shade just for headlines. His career has been built on respect, discipline, and only speaking when something really matters. So when rumors began swirling that he had called out Oprah Winfrey over her alleged ties to Diddy, and not in a flattering way, people stopped scrolling and started paying close attention. This wasn't tabloid fluff. This was Denzel, a Hollywood legend, quietly raising eyebrows. Just a few months ago, Diddy was living large, throwing wild parties, cruising on yachts, surrounded by A-listers, and flaunting his empire. But then, everything came crashing down. A wave of lawsuits hit him like a wrecking ball. These weren't your typical celebrity controversies. They were dark. The allegations included extortion, trafficking, drugging women, and even disturbing claims involving minors. Federal agents didn't waste time. They raided his properties across multiple states, seizing evidence and footage so disturbing that even seasoned investigators were reportedly shaken. Then, out of nowhere, another name entered the conversation: Oprah Winfrey. Yes, Oprah. Billionaire, empathy guru, media mogul, the woman known for promoting healing, growth, and integrity. So when whispers emerged that she may be connected to Diddy, whether by association, silence, or even protection, it shook fans to the core. It felt like learning your favorite role model might have a secret dark side. And that's where Denzel reportedly draws the line. Insiders say he's been uncomfortable with Oprah for years, not over gossip, but because of how she allegedly treats people, especially Black women, when the spotlight's off. Unlike their surface-level public smiles, Oprah and Diddy have a long history: photos, interviews, industry events. He's even been a guest on her show, sharing emotional stories about his past. Now, with the walls closing in on Diddy, people are taking a second look at who stood next to him when things were good, and who's silent now. And when someone as private and principled as Denzel starts giving side eyes, it might be time to start asking deeper questions. On the surface, Oprah Winfrey and Diddy appeared to have a relationship built on mutual respect, smiles, interviews, shared stages. But if the latest claims are true, that bond may have been built on more than admiration. It's beginning to look like strategy. Oprah's relationships in Hollywood have always followed a pattern: align with powerful figures and go silent when they fall from grace. Take Harvey Weinstein, for example. Oprah praised him, worked with him, hugged him like family, even while whispers about his behavior swirled star. And when those whispers turned into full-blown headlines, Oprah didn't confront him. Instead, she gave a vague speech about a watershed moment. Polished, yes. Transparent? Not so much. Then there's the money issue, specifically how Black women in Hollywood are treated. Taraji P. Henson nearly walked away from The Color Purple, a film Oprah co-produced, over being severely underpaid. That echoed what Monique said years earlier. These weren't unproven actresses. They were Oscar winners and household names asking for basic fairness. Yet in both stories, the same name kept surfacing: Oprah. A woman known for publicly championing empowerment while allegedly offering pennies behind closed doors. This is the duality Denzel Washington is reportedly uncomfortable with. Publicly, Oprah is empathy personified. But behind the curtain, there's talk of quiet gatekeeping, selective support, and calculated alliances. And now, with Diddy under fire for some of the most disturbing allegations in recent memory: trafficking, drugging, abuse, possible involvement of minors, people are starting to connect the dots. Denzel's not out here chasing gossip. He's reportedly highlighting a pattern. One that suggests these aren't isolated incidents, but clues to a deeper network of protection and silence. Monique's experience is a key example. Back in 2008, she opened up privately to Oprah about being abused by her brother. It was deeply personal. But instead of supporting her behind the scenes, Oprah invited not just Monique's brother but also her estranged parents onto her show, without informing her star. That wasn't empathy. That was exploitation, dressed up as compassion for many. That moment shattered Oprah's image. Because if someone known for emotional integrity could leverage another woman's trauma for ratings, what else might she be willing to do? Now, Diddy's world is unraveling. He's no longer just the flashy mogul. His name is tied to horrifying allegations involving secret rooms, bizarre rituals, and a disturbing number of NDAs. And as this scandal deepens, new names keep surfacing. One voice in particular, Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, has stirred the pot. He didn't just implicate Diddy. He pointed fingers at a network: Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and yes, Oprah. If what he's saying holds even a grain of truth, then we're not just dealing with individual bad actors. We're looking at a system. One where fame, influence, and silence form a protective shield. And in that kind of system, Denzel's quiet discomfort starts to sound a lot more like a warning. Denzel Washington didn't mince words. He made it clear, these people didn't just cross paths in Hollywood, they ran together. Parties, business deals, behind closed-door meetings, things that seemed casual now look calculated. And once Denzel reportedly said it out loud, things started clicking for a lot of people. The photos, the red carpet smiles, the strategic silence when scandals exploded, it all began to feel a little too coordinated. That old excuse, Oprah's just being professional, started to wear thin, and it's not just ex-bodyguards and insiders speaking up. A long list of celebrities have had uncomfortable encounters with Oprah's version of storytelling. Take Ludacris, for example. In 2005, he appeared on her show to promote Crash, an Oscar-winning film. But instead of celebrating the project, Oprah used the moment to criticize his music, particularly his use of the N-word. While the critique itself wasn't the issue, Ludacris later learned something disturbing. Every part of the interview where he defended himself had been edited out. What aired made him look guilty and submissive, hardly a fair portrayal. Then there's 50 Cent, who accused Oprah of pandering to white audiences while distancing herself from the black community. He didn't hold back, even going so far as to say Oprah was black on the outside, white on the inside. Harsh words, but they resonated with many. Oprah, despite her image of empowerment, has made choices that seem more about protecting power than protecting people. Ice Cube had a similar experience. Despite his decades-long influence in music, film, and culture, Oprah never gave him a platform. Not for Barbershop, not for Straight Outta Compton, not even for his controversial yet impactful show *Black, White*. When he finally asked why, the answer was simple: his views didn't fit her narrative. It's getting harder to write this all off as coincidence. Too many stories. Too many patterns. Now, with Denzel reportedly pointing a spotlight on these patterns, more people are starting to examine the empire Oprah built. Not just the glowing image, but the shadows behind it. Michael Jackson once opened the gates of Neverland to Oprah for one of the most iconic interviews of all time. He trusted her, gave her access to a side of him the world rarely saw. For years, Oprah celebrated that moment. But after his death, everything changed. She hosted a special platforming two men who accused Michael of abuse, despite both having previously testified under oath that nothing had ever happened. To many, this felt like betrayal. The timing, the tone, it seemed less about justice and more about chasing controversy. If it was truly about awareness, critics asked, why hadn't she gone just as hard on Harvey Weinstein? Why didn't she publicly challenge the men she'd once embraced at events and partnered with behind the scenes? Then came the case of João de Deus, known as John of God. Oprah had featured him on her show, calling him a miraculous healer in Brazil. She praised him for channeling divine energy and helping people overcome trauma. But later, the truth emerged. He was arrested and charged with horrifying crimes, including sexual abuse and trafficking. When you put all of this together, the silence, the selective outrage, the curated alliances, it's hard not to question what Oprah's brand of empowerment really stands for. And if Denzel is finally speaking up, maybe it's time we all started listening. It was worse than anyone imagined. João de Deus, once praised by Oprah as a miraculous healer, wasn't just a fraud. He was a monster, accused of running a human trafficking ring, chaining women in captivity, forcing them to give birth, and selling their babies on the black market. And when the horrifying truth came out, Oprah vanished from the narrative. She quietly deleted every trace of him from her platforms. No apology, no public accountability, just silence. It's a pattern that's become hard to ignore. Oprah throws her support behind someone when it benefits her brand, but if they fall, she disappears. No explanations. No ownership. Only silence. And this wasn't a one-time misstep. Her elite South African girls' school, once hailed as a beacon of opportunity, faced its own scandal when a staff member was arrested for sexually abusing students. Yet again, Oprah stayed mostly quiet. The transparency people expected never came. The public started to wonder, is Oprah truly the voice of justice, or just the curator of her image? Then came Seal. The Grammy-winning artist posted a viral Instagram calling Oprah out, suggesting she'd known about Harvey Weinstein's abuses for years, but said nothing. Just 5 days later, Seal was hit with a battery charge. It was eventually dropped, but the timing raised eyebrows. Could Oprah's influence go as far as silencing critics? Comedian Cat Williams didn't hold back either. He accused Oprah of manipulating narratives and playing chess with reputations, rewarding obedience, punishing dissent. To him, Oprah wasn't just a media icon. She was a power broker protecting her empire at all costs. Then there was Maui. When wildfires devastated the island, Oprah's vast properties remained untouched while local homes burned. Rather than donate from her immense wealth, she launched a fundraiser asking everyday people to chip in. The optics were off, and the message felt clear: protect the brand, even when others suffer. So when someone like Denzel Washington reportedly questions Oprah's integrity, the world finally pays attention. His reputation isn't built on drama, but on principle. And maybe, just maybe, it's time we all look past the surface, because the truth about Oprah might have been hiding in plain sight all along.